my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what we're going to review this week?
Well, Dave, our good friend Blake and Patreon, the man with the greatest mullet you've ever seen, has picked a movie, Dave, back to 1993. It's a comedy, and I'm doing the air quotes, Dave, directed by Carl Reiner. It stars Sean Young and Armand Assante. This one is Fatal Instinct. So I know we briefly talked about it last week, but you've got any recollection on this one at all, Dave?
No, none at all. And it's weird because I feel like 93, maybe I'd have been over stuff like this, but things like Naked Gun and before that Police Squad, which was the TV series that came before Naked Gun, things like Airplane, things like Top Secret, these spoof comedies, I think I'd have been all over. And it's very much of a particular time in the 90s, isn't it? So just coming out after things like Fatal Attraction, things like Basic Instinct, and just slamming those together. I feel like in terms of the ingredients that have gone into this, I should have been all over this. But yeah, I just haven't seen it at all. And we'll get into what I think about it later, but I'm not going to reveal my hand too quickly. So I think you'd said you'd seen it though, hadn't you?
Yeah, so one of the ones where you rent it, you can clearly see it's a piss take of Basic Instincts. And I think at this point in my career, I don't think I'd seen Basic Instinct. I think I saw this probably around the same time, probably because I was just looking for any bit of flesh to fucking pull one off to, Dave. So it was like, oh, hang on a minute, I can rent this and get some.
The VHS cover does look a bit enticing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks Chris Phelps style.
Yeah.
So I did see it. I remember watching it and thinking, well, it's never even crossed my mind. You know, you've got stuff like you say in the parody, Naked Gun is the pinnacle, and that's got to be on our list at some point, 100%. I fucking love Naked Gun. But then you've got Hot Shots, I thought was really good. There was a piss take. You've got what's one with this one with Emilio Estevez as well, but there's a couple of parody ones that these sort of work, don't they? Even the Scream one, which is a piss take, like the Scary Movie franchise and all that. The first ones were all right. The Wayans brothers are in them. The Wayans brothers are in them a lot. And they were not bad movies, to be honest. They played up to them, the Scream era, late 90s and everything. But this, I remember watching it and not thinking too much of it. But then when I saw the trailer last week, I was like, oh, yeah, I do remember this. But also, it's a one and done. It's probably 30 years ago since I've seen it. So even watching the trailer, I was like, I don't think this is the greatest fucking comedy I've ever seen. But Blake, he pulls these movies out of the bag. I'm thinking, will I like it? Now, will the jokes hit as an adult? Like one of the ones where you watch something now and you're like, oh, I get it now. I get what this was about. I understand the jokes. They like even if you watch stuff like The Simpsons, there's loads of adult jokes that when I was growing up, you'd watch it and be like, it was funny. But then, like, you watch an episode a few years later and you go, oh, hang on a minute, that's talking about fucking, some random, like, adult thing, or it's a bit sexualized, or it's a, bit of innuendo sort of thing. I did say, Dave, I was watching the scene last night from the Family Guy where Ricky Gervais is the dolphin, and they befriend him, and he says, I'm going to go and watch fucking Prawn on fucking the internet. And Lois and fucking Peter are like, what? He goes, prawn? Do you mean porn? No, prawn. Oh, yeah, I'm going to touch my dolphin penis and all this. And the next minute, Peter's in the fucking bathroom, and there's fucking the dolphin on the toilet, sat across, and he's going, what? He goes, well, I'm going to have a shower. And Peter's having a shower, and he's going, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, he goes, go on, no, we're all men here. He goes, oh, all right then. Then he looks at me and goes, do you hear the word morbidly a lot? And he's like, hey, what? And then he goes, could I ask you, have you got a penis down there? Because Peter's completely naked, but his gut's obviously hiding it. And then Peter went, oh, that's it, Lois, get a tape measure out, and I'm pissing myself laughing because it's just Ricky Gervais's voice doesn't seem right. But they're the sort of things that they're in your face. You get them sort of jokes. But I was thinking, well, I get it. Just circling back to this, thinking I might like this. I might like this movie. The pretense of it, we're reading it last week as well, is I like the fact that as an idea, he's a cop who is also the lawyer who defends the people he's arrested. So I was thinking, oh, this might be stupid. Like I saw that scene of Naked Gun the other day when Frank Drebin goes to hustle that fucking informant and he gives him $20 and he starts interrogating him. And then he asks Frank a question and gives him the money back. And Frank ends up $50 up. And he was supposed to be interrogating the fucking perp sort of thing. His informant giving him money. And Frank Drebin, and then the one with him out of Dallas, who's in all of them, George Finger, and he says something about, they talk about the suspects and he goes, sex. And then fucking Frank Drebin goes, no, not at the moment, Ed. And walks off and fucking he's looking at the camera like, it's just stupid fucking innuendo and really silly jokes. And I came into this quite positive. The trailer last week, I was like, oh, fucking, I was thinking, this actually might hit with me, but I'm not seeing any more than that, Dave.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
The informant, he was a regular in the Police Squad TV show as well. Yeah. And you'd always have someone coming up after, like the priest asking about the afterlife or something like that.
Yeah. Do you remember the one with the banana? They only did 6 episodes, didn't they?
That's the tall fella, isn't it?
The tall guy, didn't
you got something by the side of your mouth.
It's fucking half a banana or something. So silly. I used to love the fucking the siren at the start. And he got in the shower and everything, didn't he? And all that. I fucking love that. So mad in it. 6 episodes and that was it.
I'm going to have to go back and watch it at some point. But you've got the special guest star who gets killed off in the first few seconds.
Straight away. I used to love that. And they stand still, didn't they? They'd just be like...
At the end there, yeah. But anyway, enough frivolity, Chris, because we've got to talk about this one. So, shall we get into the trailer?
Yay, yeah, go on, Dave.
Stop, Steve! Hey! Ned Ravine.
Police emergency, I need a vehicle.
A cop who plays by the rules.
All right, pull it over. You have the right to remain silent. Next, you waive that right, anything you say. Next.
Lola Kane. A woman who plays by her own rules.
What are they looking at?
A lot of them have tried that seat before. We're the first one that's lasted this long.
Well, I feel honored.
Don't. It's broken.
Together.
Oh, this is so different.
They're going to ignite an animal passion.
I'm flipping!
That will lead to the deadliest game of all.
I'm married to a wonderful woman.
What is it?
It's sort of like a cat.
It's not enough like a cat, Ned. Did you ever consider that maybe you don't know women as well as you think you do?
MGM presents Armand Assante.
You stay away from my wife, my life, and my skunk!
No!
Sherilyn Fenn.
Are you all right?
Kate Nelligan. And Sean Young.
You tell me who she is, or I'll
She's my sister! Your wife! She's your wife and my sister.
In a movie where one night of love can be fatal.
Oh.
Fatal Instinct.
Yeah, you guys watch your step. There's a lot of blood in here. Whoa!
It's a killer comedy. Directed by Carl Reiner.
Ned Ravine believes that he knows everything about women and says that he will throw away his badge if anyone ever proves him wrong. While on a stakeout, he encounters a seductive woman named Lola Kane. The next day, Lola shows up at his law office saying that she needs him to look over some papers she's come across. Meanwhile, Max Shady has just been released from prison and starts stalking Ned, planning to kill him for failing to defend him in court. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, I've got to say, it starts pretty much beat for beat Basic Instinct. So the inner fucking wank, fucking thirsty Chris 14-year-old was like, oh, this is going to be good. I definitely would have got a bit of mileage out of this. But you did say about frivolity before the trailer, and I like Blake. He's a great guy. This movie's fucking shit. It is absolutely awful. It is literally Naked Gun without any of the laughs. You can see things. They are on a postage stamp, the jokes. Nothing hits. There's not one bit of this movie that even raised a smile. It didn't even raise anything else, Dave, let alone, at least I could have fucking gone with that. But it raised nothing. It's a terrible movie, this. I think, like, the idea behind it, and it would have been made pretty quickly after Basic Instincts. Obviously, it's pretty much Basic Instinct more than any of the other movies it's supposed to be. I think this is awful. I think, like, everything about it is they've got to try to do stuff from, like, Airplane, like, say, Police Squad, Naked Gun. Nothing hits for me at all. I honestly, and then these bits in it where I'm like, is it trying to be serious? And then we'll get a bit of a joke out of it. And obviously his missus, she's getting slit one by the mechanic, who obviously is now going to be in Happy Gilmore too, Dave. He's shooting McGavin,
Yeah.
but he's the mechanic. He's in the second one. So they're filming it now, actually. But it's like, I just don't understand any of it. I just didn't find any of it funny. And you know, I hate to do that to, but honestly, this movie's fucking terrible. I was like, oh my God. And I had to watch it in about 3 stages. That's how bad it was. It's terrible.
Now, what I don't get with these spoof comedies, I don't understand what the secret ingredient is. Because, I mean, we've done Basic Instincts, we've done Wild Things, and you can kind of see these erotic thrillers, you know, and usually the music's quite good. You've got the whole film noir feel, the femme fatale there. I think making a spoof of that, actually the timing of it is pretty good. And I think, you know, loving things like waxing lyrical just now about Naked Gun and Police Squad and things like that, the scary movies, all the ingredients, if someone described this to me, I'd be like, oh yeah, I quite fancy that. It sounds a bit of me, sounds good. But Chris, I very rarely do this. So when someone picks, I like to, you know, have the episode drop and for them to be surprised by, you know, what our take is. But honestly, I ping Blake. I'm like, do you actually like this? I couldn't help it. I was genuinely perplexed. I'm like, is this just a pure stitch up? And I think Blake's probably got some older memories of it, just watching it with mates and stuff like that and finding it funny. But honestly, I'm with you. I think this is terrible. I don't think anything is funny about this at all. None of the jokes land for me.
No, they don't. And the thing is, though, Dave, Blake must have received that and gone, well, with Chris, he's a bell end. We expect it from Chris. He's just going to go in, heart on his sleeve. But when he's getting messages from you, he must have gone, hang on a minute. He's either stitched us both, because he knows that with me, I'm going to be pretty much there around that same area as you. But for you to reach out, and then again, he might have been doing the old fist pump going, got him. Absolutely got them both. Because I'm, honestly, I don't know what it is. I can see the nostalgia of it. And like you say, maybe if Blake's watching with his mates and stuff, it's one of them ones where they reference some of the jokes or whatever, you know, like you do, don't you? These movies that are terrible that you can reference. I mean, you know, I do get it, and you'll fall and you'll die on that hill. And we always have shit movies that you absolutely love, and there's nothing you can say to anybody about it. I love that movie. I can watch it all the time. Like even the Cannonball Run 2 is nowhere near the quality of the first one, but there's nothing you can say about me not watching it, Dave. And I've watched them both recently again. You know, watched the first one on the plane, got to Vegas. So I will die on that hill. The second one's terrible. Smoking a Bandit 2. We haven't done it yet, Dave, for the reason that I know it's terrible, but there's a few brilliant moments in it that I absolutely loved as a kid. Yeah. So I'll still watch it, even though it is really poor. But with this, because of the quality, like Naked Gun, I think what you said, what's the ingredients? I think with Naked Gun and even like Hot Shots, and I've not watched that for a while, but I did enjoy the first Hot Shots. I was saying that before the break, we're not on a fucking TV show, Chris, you dick. But the review, before we went to the review, it's the cleverness of the jokes, I think. That whole thing with Frank Drebin giving the perp his money because he wants some information, but then he gives it him back and they do it. And that's like really clever comedy. There was nothing I saw in this that I've not seen on Naked Gun, but just poorly delivered everything about it. Like he goes to get in bed with his missus, and then the mechanic's on the other side, and he's trying to not make a noise. And the telly comes up, he's stood on a load of shit, there's all these different things happening, and Ned doesn't wake up, but then as soon as a bird comes and tweets, he throws a shoe at it, and then the shoe hits the mechanic, and I'm like, I can see all this stuff a mile off, like what's going to happen, and none of it is funny, is it? There's nothing about it where you're like, oh, that's really good. Like he gets run over and comes in work, and he's got the shoe, obviously he's throw at the bird. He's only got one shoe anyway. And then he's got a row of suits, so I don't know what I'm going to wear. And I'm like, none of this is hitting with me at all. But then there's some serious bits in it, if that makes sense, like the music and the tone of it. It's like, if you're going to be a piss take of all these genres, or mainly Basic Instinct, if you're going to be a piss take of it, be a piss take, be Naked Gun. But like the music and that doesn't sit with it, and I don't know. I just find it's a complete mess of a movie. To be honest, it's really bizarre that they made this so quickly. And I mean, it made fuck all, 7.8 million, nothing at the box office. Don't even say how much it cost. But if it was £3.50, I'd be fucking asking for my money back. It is a terrible movie. This it really is.
Yeah. I think what it is for me, I was trying to imagine. Okay, if it was Leslie Nielsen in the role of Ned Ravine.
Ned Ravine, yeah.
Then, would it be better? And I think the answer is probably yes, but I still think it'd be pretty poor. So I was looking at this. This is written by David O'Malley, and Fatal Instinct is his highest rated movie. So it's got, or it's the one he's known for most. Others are Edge of Honor from 91. Dark Honeymoon from 2008, Easy Wheels from 1989. Those are the things that appear on his IMDb page. I think this is someone who's watched things like Naked Gun and gone, I've got it, I've nailed it. I could do something like this. And it's like a tribute band of spoof comedies. And it's like, okay, Basic Instinct is huge now, and all these kind of Fatal Attraction things, and Sleeping with the Enemy, and all these other thriller movies. Yeah, I can make a spoof of that, but it just misses on everything. I mean, when he introduces or you get introduced to Lola, and she's walking in the high heels, and then she's stepping on gum and everything, and things are getting stuck to her foot. I think the thing with Airplane, with Naked Gun, the jokes are relentless. So not all of them land, but you don't have to worry about it because one's coming fucking 5 seconds later. With this one, I just don't fit. There's not a single joke that landed for me. And, he's there with the hot dogs and stuff, and he spills a massive amount of mustard on her breasts, and then he's trying to get it off her breasts and like lick it and stuff, and it's like, okay, is this supposed to be funny? And then you've got the guy who he's chasing with the tights on his head. And he's always got his tights on his head. And then he's going to shoot him, but he's got his finger in the gun. And then they go through this whole dialogue about how, it's this whole kidology. If he fires the gun, it's going to, fire back at him. And then he's like, oh, no, it's only a hypothesis or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, this is someone who doesn't actually get comedy, trying to imitate comedy. And I honestly, Chris, I watched this. I was perplexed. Message Blake, and he's like, "Oh, maybe you were in a bad mood or something." I'm like, "Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'm going to try this again." So last night I watched I'd say about a third of it again, and I was like, "No, this is fucking shit. This is awful. This is just wank." And I rarely go in on a movie like this, but this is offensive how fucking shit this is. I bet, Chris, if we sat down and tried to write a spoof comedy about something, it would not be any worse than this.
Oh, it's terrible. And I mean, I don't think it helps with him though. Armand Assante. He's mainly known for playing gangsters. He's been in loads of different movies and that, and TV shows. He's not a massive actor anyway. He's always been supporting cast. He's usually a wanker, like a bit of an hard nut. He's played John Gotti and stuff in other movies after this and before that. Like he always plays an Italian mafia type guy. He doesn't deliver on it, does he? It's obviously trying to broaden his horizons, but it's not something where he's been in a movie and you've gone, oh yeah, you can see he's a breakout star, like that Glenn Finger out of Top Gun, the guy who's a dick in the new Top Gun movie, Glenn Finger. And I've watched and he's now being mentored by Tom Cruise, and he's doing every movie possible, and he's speaking like Tom Cruise. I mean, he's got a great fucking body in that. He's absolutely ripped up. The one with Sydney Sweeney, which, let's be honest, Dave, Sydney Sweeney's now on the list. I'll be honest with you, she is stunning.
On the laminated list.
Fucking telling you. Yeah, the non-stained list. But yeah, honestly, that Glenn Powell, is it, whatever he's called, and he's been in Twister and all that, and he has broke out more than any of the others from Top Gun and become a movie star. And they reckon he is like the next massive big movie star. Like the trajectory of his career will be the next 15, 20 years, unless something happens and he pisses someone off or gets cancelled. But he's doing these steady movies. I watched one, The Hitman, the other week. That's a good movie. You know, the one I said, one with Sydney Sweeney's a great movie. The Twister's not bad. He's got this down now. You can see that he's probably going to join Scientology. But this Armand Assante is come from nowhere, got this spoof movie. As soon as you go down that route, and you're right, if you'd had Leslie Nielsen, this would work. I know Leslie Nielsen did some shit once. He did the one about the one with the religious one, and that's a terrible movie. He plays the priest and
Repossessed.
Yeah, fucking terrible movie. But
I love it.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's got his DNA in, hasn't it? There's still bits in it which you will laugh at, even though it's a terrible movie. But with this, I don't think it helps with him. I think Sean Young, even though she's stunning and she was a bit of a movie star, she doesn't do very well in it. It doesn't suit her style. This like taking the piss out of yourself thing doesn't work. You know, you look at, so here's an example. We did Last Action Hero, didn't we? And really, Arnie does that pretty much a year after Terminator 2, doesn't he? Terminator 2 is one of his most successful movies ever. And there's a point in the 90s where Arnie's career sort of tapers off, doesn't it? You've got some like True Lies and that were great movies, but he's on the sort of back nine, if you know what I mean there. But he does a movie like Last Action Hero, taking the piss out of himself. And it's not like this, but it's a spoof on everything he's done and the movies that have come before that he's done. He's not being serious. We watched it. It sort of bombed, but we watched it, didn't we, like 6 months ago, and absolutely loved it. And it's a great movie. And I think it's well ahead of its time and really, really enjoyed it. This is something that you watch now and go, fuck me, I'll never watch this again. If we weren't on the podcast, there's no way me and you would seek this out. If it was on TV, you'd be like, yeah, I'm out. You know, so I really don't want to do this to play, but it's one of the worst movies I've ever watched, I think, Dave, for different reasons. It's not a fucking corpse getting piped off by a girl or anything, which is terrible, necromantic, but it's not at that level. However, it is at a level where you're like, oh, this is a terrible movie. And there's a reason it's at 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is fucking awful. So, Blake, I know you're listening. You have done us both here, my friend. This is a brilliant pick for all the wrong reasons, because I'm sat here going, I can't wait to get on the podcast. I don't know what Dave's going to think. Is Dave going to go, it's a good movie? But you've gone more in on it than I have. I'm really shocked by that, Dave. You expect it from me, heart on the sleeve stuff, but you're usually like, no, I enjoyed it, I can understand this. But you're like, no, Drake, what are you doing to us? I love it.
Nothing redeeming about this at all. And you say 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. Who are the fuckers who reviewed that as fresh? I don't know. 17%. That's not bad considering this movie, I think. Honestly, I don't think the second watch had quite the effect Blake was hoping. But
our ex-friend Blake, he's fucking deleting us now.
He's gonna fucking disown us. But no, honestly, I just found it really bad. And you know what? As we're talking, I'm thinking things like Airplane, right? It's played with an authenticity. It's played straight. You know, it's played with an earnestness that, you know, it's like the actors are not in on the joke. Whereas I think for this, it's just it's almost winking to the camera. It's like the difference. I don't think you watched the second Samurai Cop, did you? But you know, the first Samurai Cop is so gloriously shit, but no one's in on the joke. And the second one, everyone's in on the joke, so it's proper, like literally winking at the camera. You know, so and it doesn't work. I think that's it. I mean, Airplane was based on an actual movie, and it was called 0 Hour. And if you go back and you watch bits of that, it's literally the same. Like the dialogue is literally taken from 0 Hour, but there is something in the delivery. You know, it's just taken this ridiculous film, this disaster film, and then making it more modern. I mean, we're talking about 1980 now, so it's still a fair few years from now, but at the time, more modern. And it just makes it funny. And then you throw in these extra bits of goofiness. Whereas it's over-indexed on the goofiness, and there's just no authenticity to it at all. And I think you're right about the leading man, you know, Armand playing Ned Ravine. It's just there's something I don't believe it. For me, he's always going to be Rico from Judge Dredd.
Yeah, he's in that. But,
yeah, and I guess one of the worst jokes for me that just falls so flat is when you know, Ned finds that you know, or he doesn't find, you know, his wife and the mechanic are having an affair right in front of him, and he's not getting it at all. He's saying, "Oh, I know what's going on here. You're screwing my wife." He thinks he's like stretching out the mechanic job, and then he goes off, and then they basically start having a bit on the kitchen table, and then it's when she says like, "Oh, I think he says to her, is that the postman ringing the doorbell?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, he always rings twice." And I'm like, that is so butter-clenchingly bad, but it had a postage stamp on it. You could just see it coming a mile off. And I'm like, who fucking writes it? But who then sees it on the page and thinks, yeah, that's really good, that. Because that's a real subtle fucking joke, isn't it? So yeah, just everything about it, Chris. You can tell I'm getting more animated as we're going on now, just about how offended I am at this potential germ of a good idea. You know, to take these kind of these erotic thrillers and to just make a spoof comedy out of it. But yeah, everything falls flat.
It does, and it's a shame, isn't it? Because you want that, like you said, you want them things where they're not in on the joke, and because of that, like even the stuff when he's on the bed with her and he's like doing backflips and stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It portrays it like they're having sex.
The stuntman doing backflips.
Yeah, well, obvious.
It's almost No Retreat, No Surrender 3, that.
Yeah, it was, to be fair. It's probably the same guy, but it was just weird, isn't it? Because you're looking at now. Now, listen, I will say, actually, Dave, we're going in a little bit on Blake. Wait till we get to my pick at Christmas. There's been speculation what it is. I've not even watched this movie yet. I've just come across it and gone, oh, this is the Christmas present that is going to keep giving. And I love the fact that the speculation is a Lauren Avedon movie, Dave. Now, I've not done a Lauren movie this year. I can't deny that rumor, Dave, but I also can't confirm. Well, yeah, but it may be, it may be not. But it has a Christmas theme to it. That's all I'm going to say. So if people do want to try and find something in the Chris Phelps wheelhouse, all I'll say to you, Dave, is Liam Neeson says, good luck. You know, but if they get it, I'm going to be fuming. But anyway, it's probably dead obvious. And like, well, it didn't take long, did it? Fucking Columbo didn't need to come and go, just one more thing. You know, it was there in plain sight. But we'll see.
I don't believe in that in the workplace.
Workplace, yeah. I was talking about that the other day to someone, actually. I did that line to someone the other day and they just looked at me like, don't know what that is. Don't know what you're doing.
All these fucking Zoomers at work, I drop these pop culture lines in. I ain't got a fucking clue. I'm just some mad old fart who drops fucking random lines in. It's like, oh, Alzheimer's is kicking in early.
Yeah, but then someone your age will go, fucking The Office, and you're like, oh, someone's got it. It took me 5 years. They've got the joke. You know, like, I think it's like, I get it, Dave. I'll drop stuff in with the lads at work who are around the same age and older, and they never watched The Office, and I'm like, oh, you fucking wankers. You don't get the fucking humour. If only Dave was here.
Yeah, I can't remember if I told you, but we were having this team building thing, you know, a few icebreakers, and we were talking about favourite movies and stuff like that. And I said Back to the Future, and I said, oh, the thing is, when I was watching this, you know, when it first came out, I felt like I was Marty McFly, whereas now I watch it and I'm George McFly. You know, honestly, fucking nothing. No one has a fucking clue what's Back to the Future. I'm like, oh, fuck you. Your parents have failed you. I'm telling you.
I would have said you'd be more like Doc Brown now, Dave. We're probably the same age as Doc Brown. Fucking both of us. I saw a trailer last night for some DeLorean thing. They're bringing the DeLorean back, aren't they? And they've got Christopher Lloyd there, so they park outside. It looks like the house, Marty's house, and Christopher Lloyd answers, and someone's got the plutonium suit on and everything, and passes him. It's like a time warp thing, and they've got the DeLorean, but the music's not Back to the Future. It's got the beats of it,
right.
But and then at one point he's about to say Great Scott, but obviously he's not allowed to say it because of the advert, and then it just goes off. But there's a DeLorean shoots down this road that's very similar to Marty's. But yeah, I'm with you. If you use them sort of references, I mean, I've done it with Jordan, like when she was younger, she had no choice. She used to watch the Rocky movies all the time with me. Back to the Future, Dave, now, she's like, what's this? I think Rocky was on a few months ago on TV, and they just put it on. You know, like I've watched Rocky 3 on the plane, actually, over to Vegas, which, coincidentally, anybody who's got Prime, the Rocky movies are getting taken off there for a time being. I think they're like recycle, and you have to pay for them now, but they are free on Prime Video for the next couple of weeks, I think. So I watched Rocky 3, still love that. Still my favourite. That and Rocky 5 are my favourites, but it's one of those, you're just like, what's this old film you're watching? I'm like, how fucking dare you? How dare you come in and say such a thing? But to them, isn't it? It's like, for us, black and white movies were the old movies, weren't they?
Yeah.
You know, if it wasn't in colour, you'd be like, oh. And I used to watch a lot of the black and white movies, even bloody, well, The Wizard of Oz was in black and white, then went to colour, didn't it? You know, and I think Singing in the Rain was the same. That changes to colour. Great movie I loved as a kid. But yeah, for this, I've all gone on a tangent, but this has got, maybe that's what it is with Blake. There's these pop reference like jokes that only him and his friends would get, and everyone in the room would be like, I don't know what you're doing. What's going on?
Yeah.
What are you laughing at? You know, one of them, like me and you could sit there and riff off each other all day doing The Office, and pretty much, if you've never watched The Office, you'd be like, this is fucking shit.
With
you
these
know,
parabellends.
Yeah, absolute knobheads. They're speaking their own language here, you know, one of them. And it's like, no, you know, Free Love on the Free Love Highway is one of the greatest songs ever. That is fucking a great tune, so underrated, you know, like just all them references, get the guitar. If me and you do it all the time, don't we? If we do something at work and we're messaging each other or something happens, you know, one of us is going to send each other there, go and get the guitar. You know, diffuse the situation. Like something's going on, you'll just send it me. If it's some family drama or you've got something, and I'll go like that. There you go. You know, one of them. Because we both take the piss. I mean, you do more presentations at work, but you will literally be like, this is going to work into a David Brent fucking scene if I'm not careful, because like you just said with the age thing and everything, you know, you go from like fucking thinking you're hip and cool to like, oh, who is this old guy? I do it myself, you know,
giving a motivational speech to Simply the Best.
Holding your stomach in and fucking, if you got your cap on backwards, doing fucking, I'm doing it now, the claps. Come on, everyone clap. Nobody claps. Getting paid for it. Fucking brilliant. The David Brent is the fucking English version of Tony Robbins. Fucking brilliant. Yeah, absolute class.
I mean, it is those stupid things, and it's obviously window into our world, but like say we're WhatsApping each other or something like that, and maybe you'll say like something, oh, good idea. I can't resist it. It's like, you know, having that fucking OCD. I just can't not. You know, don't respond. Oh no, fuck it, I'm going to do it. A good idea is a good idea forever. Whew. Right, yeah. I've said it now.
You got to do it. It's like the line we do it on this podcast, and people probably go, "What the fuck?" The line in David Brent is when that guy comes for the interview, and it's like, and I'm doing it now. Is you've charmed me, and he does the snake hands. But me and you will do it if he says something about intrigue. We'll go, "You intrigued me," and he's not even in the office, and I'm doing the hand now.
Memory, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like because we know the way that Ricky Gervais delivers it. we will say it to each other, and straight away we're both either doing the fucking fake snake thing, or we both fucking know straight away what the little in joke is. It's stupid, isn't it? It's so
Intrigued is like a trigger word to do the snake
It
hand.
is, and it's not even in the fucking show, is it? It's you've charmed me. We're just so intrigued. Ooh, have you really, Dave? Yeah. Pair of knobs, honestly, absolute pair of knobs. But that's what, and it's true. Like my job, we have completely different jobs. You know, mine's sort of half hybrid, working outside physical job, but then I have got that computer side and office side to my job more than ever now than I've ever done, which I never thought I'd be going back working in an office partly because I hate it. But there's still the parallels in our job. Or if we both like having a shit day and we'll message each other, and then one of us just takes the piss, and it's usually an office reference that comes out, done it? Like, you know, you have an absolute stinker of a day, and then it's like, you know, that you're not going to get much sympathy off me, Dave. Or, you know, I get a couple of messages. Oh, don't worry, mate. You know, chill out, do that, and then you know I'm going to give you shit straight away because that's what it's all about, isn't it? If you don't, you know what? To be fair, and I know we're not even on this podcast, but the reality one. We're doing maths at the moment, and Married at First Sight, and we're going through it. And we're going to not even record it this week. So we'll probably record it then tomorrow as we're recording this. It's usually a Sunday when we record that. But there was a bit in it reminded me of Me and You this week where that guy, the rugby player, comes in and he's got this girl and his mate's there, and his mate looks like a proper geek, and he's there ripped up. He's obviously about 5'6", 5'7", and he's going on about how good looking it is. And then his mate just went, "Yeah, but you're small, aren't you?" And you know what? And that's on TV. And even he went, "You've just fucking done me." And that's the sort of humour we would do to each other, wouldn't we? That would be it. Like, if you saw me on TV, you'd message me and go, "You know what, mate? Really good. I'm dead proud of you and everything." But there would have to be a line like, "Fuck me, your nose done half look bigger on TV," or something like that. I'd expect
How many cameras are on your nose?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's added £9 to you there, mate. You know, one of them, like, if I didn't get that sort of shit off you, it's like, well, are you even friends? And that's like, I feel with this would be I've gone right round the houses, but this is the sort of movie that I could get that if me and you were into it, we would absolutely buzz off it.
Yeah.
Fucking buzz, 45-year-olds saying buzz off it. But we'd absolutely make a living off it for the rest of our lives where nobody would get it. But because it's me and you, we'd be like, yeah, Dave gets it though. Don't matter if everyone else thinks that. Yeah. You would get that joke. And I think maybe that's where Blake's coming from with this. Maybe that's what it is. It's got that nostalgia. I feel a twat now if Blake actually messages and there's some massive thing behind it, heartwarming thing. So I apologise, Blake, but I'm not getting the movie, but I can understand why you like it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I wondered where you were going with that massive tangent, but it brought it back nicely to, you know,
I don't
this
know how I did that,
means
Dave.
a lot. Yeah, this means
that.
a lot to Blake and watching it with friends and stuff. And then it's probably the sort of movie that they'll quote to each other and stuff like that. So, yeah, and absolutely brilliant for that. I still think it's shit, but that doesn't matter. But let me throw in a bit of a fact, because you have Sherilyn Fenn, who plays Laura, you know, the kind of lovesick secretary, and you get flashbacks with her husband, and she actually went for the part of Lola initially, but it didn't get that part before it went to Sean Young. I have to say, I do think Sean Young is very, very good looking in this, and I sort of recognised her from Blade Runner. You know, that's if I think of Sean Young, I do think of her in Blade Runner more. But the bit, like you say, where he's doing flips on the bed, I'm like, okay, is that funny? And then he's like sanding her ass, and then she's doing the cross eyes sort of thing. It just all falls flat for me. And what was it happening later when he's got the high heels on and he's doing the dancing? It's like, okay, I can imagine the writer kind of like, oh, it's going to be fucking hilarious, this. It's just not. It's just, I don't know. It just takes it too far. It's like the CBeebies version of a spoof comedy.
Yeah, CBeebies. They're bringing Balamory back, actually, Dave. I saw that.
Oh, nice. What's the story about Balamory? Wouldn't you like to know?
Eat the greedy. I used to know all of it. Jordan watched all of it. Fucking every episode of that. But you know what, though? As you were saying it now with this, did you see this week Lady Gaga and what's he called? Fucking the Joker.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, but Joker 2.
Joker 2, and they're at a premiere, aren't they, where they got like this standing ovation, and he turns round to Lady Gaga and goes, "I think it's terrible." Or they've got lip readers. It's something like the end
really?
is terrible. Yeah, yeah, and obviously it's absolutely bombed, and it's like fucking terrible movie. It's supposed to be awful. Like it's about 35% on Rotten Tomatoes, and honestly, he turns round and he's just, and she's like, no, and they're all giving him praise, kissing their ass, and they're all stood there, and you can see he's clearly uncomfortable because he's just like, this is Joaquin Phoenix. He's there. Honestly, Dave, you'll have to see it on not on Twitter, not on Twitter now, but on Threads or what, like go on YouTube, and he is so uncomfortable. You can see he's like, this is imposter syndrome. Why the fuck are we getting praise for this? I think, and that's the way they've edited it and cut the movie. He's obviously gone into it because he's a great actor. The first one I thought was a fantastic movie. Even when I was in the cinema on my own, because Sam didn't want to go, and the Gary Glitter fucking song come on, and I'm like, "Hello, is nobody seeing this?" And like, and there was only
me. That was me in the cinema as well. I'm like,
"Fuck."
Well, you can't just play that fucking Gary Glitter tune.
I know, and then when you realise, like, I think we said when we did it on comics, but it's actually an American football song that they use in the college football before the game, but they class it as the Glitter Band now, because obviously they lost all their money, didn't they, the band, when that fucking nonce got done and stuff, quite rightly, but so it ruined their career. But when it was in there, I was like, nobody's... like what Tim does, and I've got another Office reference. Tim there, Martin Freeman's like looking round, going, "Does nobody realise this is fucking wrong? And what's going on? Is this? I'm in a parallel universe." So I genuinely thought that would be brilliant, but you can clearly see, and I can't imagine at the premiere for this, because apparently they cut the run in the cinema when they realised how poorly it was received. That if they'd gone to a premiere for this, and this would have had a premiere, that they've all gone, "Holy fuck! How much are we getting paid for this? I've got paid, haven't I?" Bringing their agent, I've definitely got the check in the bank. Oh, fuck it doesn't matter, because it's almost career destroying, I think, this movie. It really is that bad. I think it's such a bad movie.
Yeah, I don't think it did anything for any of them. But again, another interesting thing, because the version I watched, it didn't have Van Morrison in it. Brown-eyed girl. But apparently in the original it did, and some of the clips I saw a bit on YouTube, it's got Brown-eyed girl in it as well. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what the reason was for taking that out, but in the re-release version, it's not there.
I do think, though, Dave, as we get to the end of the movie, I was literally like, I'm sure I've got some ironing to do. I'm sure I've got something to do. I need to pick my nose hairs out or something. I was just like, I
need to go and slam my beans in the fucking door or something.
I need
more
to do
pleasurable.
I just was like, there's no payoff to it. And I think because there's this weird, serious tone to like the musical score and what they're doing, there's just nothing, is there? The whole fight at the end in the house, and like everyone's coming back alive, and even the skunk bit that was earlier on was just shit. And she calls it Ned, his wife, and at the end, obviously, he ends up with her happily married and that. And I just couldn't wait for it to end, if I'm being honest. It's like 90 minutes of fucking hell. I'll be honest with you. It really was a fucking terrible watch.
All I can picture in my head right now is, the Simpsons meme where it's the kid and he's like, "Stop, he's already dead."
Yeah.
What I think, Chris, should we get into our final review?
Let's go. Think of the kids. So, Dave, I'm not going to do a switcheroo here. Blake, there is no fucking redemption on this one. I can't do the Chris Phelps switch on this. It is terrible. It is an awful movie. It just doesn't hit any beats with me. There wasn't even one bit. The idea I did like, and as I said at the start, the bio of he's a cop who arrests people and then defends the people who he arrests, like, taking that sort of piss. And I thought, this might come across quite well. It doesn't. I think everyone, there's no redeeming factors to this. It is really poorly put together. The jokes you can see a mile off. And even when they are jokes, nothing is funny. There's not one bit in this where I was like, oh, actually, that was quite funny, or I laughed. It didn't. So he's got to go to Alderaan. I really hope that General fucking Zod comes back and takes it, Dave, and we never see it ever again. And that's obviously comedy in motion.
To
but
the negative zone, or
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
zone,
Phantom Zone. He just takes him to across both podcasts, never to be seen again. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen by any stretch, but it's got to be in one of the top 10 worst movies we've covered on the podcast. So Blake's done his job. And I really hope that he comes out the end of it and goes, yeah, it was a stitch up all along. I really hope he does, even though he said he isn't. Unbelievable. What about yourself?
Well, Chris, you say you're not going to do a switcheroo. Neither am I. This film is fucking terrible. Honestly, I'd probably sooner watch Necromantic before this. It's fucking horrendous. And again, I thought, right, okay, I'm open to the idea. Maybe I was just in a humorless mood. You know, the other thing that crossed my mind as well, I'm like, fucking hell, I just like, has all the fun just left me? Like, maybe I used to find spoof movies funny and now I just don't find them funny. This is all going through my head, but no, on that second rewatch of well, at least a third of it, it's just like, no, this is just objectively really bad. And I think all of the measures, you know, across IMDb, again, I think at, what is it, 5.7? That's too fucking high for this. It's just really, really terrible. Just nothing about it works. The writing's terrible. I think the music is okay, but the performances are very lackluster and just don't drag me in at all. I do think if you had someone like Leslie Nielsen playing the lead character, Ned Ravine, yeah, it'd make it a bit better, but it'd definitely be in one of those second or third tier Leslie Nielsen movies where he's just forever trying to recreate Naked Gun. So yeah, utterly terrible movie. It's straight off to Alderaan. I never want to see this ever again.
Can't believe it. Like you've got it. It's very rare that you go in more than me. That is unbelievable. But I agree. I totally agree. And I don't want to see it again. It's just, bizarre movie. But Dave, what have we got for next week? Because I think we've got somewhat up our sleeve, and I've only ever seen this movie once, but it's a bit of a classic. So what are we doing next week?
Well, this is a slight window into the future, because you were saying about the Christmas movie you've got, and with the delight that I can even hear in your voice when you're talking about it, I'm like, for the week after, I have got a genuine cinematic classic for New Year lined up, but I'm like, you know what? I can still change my fucking mind as well.
Wait till you see.
So I am going to wait until we record to see, okay, maybe it's going to be a cinematic classic, or maybe I have to find the worst fucking New Year's movies I can ever find. But let's see. This one, Chris, though, we are going from something we didn't enjoy, which is an understatement for this week, to an iconic movie. Now, what I would say is it iconic for the movie or is it iconic for the music? I'm not sure. I've not watched this for a very long time, but this one, Chris, is Oliver Stone's The Doors. Now, let's get into the trailer.
Everybody in. Ceremony is about to begin.
Name, occupation.
Jim. Things are about to explode. You can feel it in the air. Planet is screaming for change. Morrison, we gotta break the myths.
That's Kyle.
The music was everywhere for this, wasn't it?
I'd like to go make a run.
Getting the sound out in.
Yeah.
Jim Morrison, the god of rock.
The network have told us that they have a problem with the lyric "Girl, we couldn't get much higher." They asked if you could say "Girl, we can't get much better."
Girl, we couldn't get much higher. Yeah.
When you sing me,
I'm the poet and you're my muse.
I'm having this on full black flavor thing.
Yeah, 100%.
you hear them out there? It's you they want now.
They don't want me, they want my death.
We contemplate doing your one day.
Oh yeah.
Poet, not a rock star.
No way, actually,
Mr. Morrison, gone too far. The show's over.
What are you gonna do about it? Try to set the night on fire. Try to set the night on fire. Go on, kill me. The night on fire. Try to set the night on fire.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, me too.
Great pick. And you know what though, Dave? I will say, you know, there's a conspiracy theory about the 27 Club and Jim Morrison, don't you? A la Elvis. I'm just going to leave that there for you for next week. I'll let you go down the rabbit hole, but I'll be researching it. Oh yes, there's a whole big conspiracy about Mr. Morrison not actually dying when he did.
Oh, it's a fucking Phelps special. I can't wait for next week. I am not going to go down on a rabbit hole.
You fucking will. I'm telling you.
Your fucking
90 minutes, Dave, turn around from when he was announced dead. No one's ever seen the body. I'm telling you, he was a gardener in France. That's all I'm going to say, Dave.
I'll wait to get into this next week. Fucking gardener in France.
How dare you? How fucking dare you? The Paul McCartney one's the best. Paul McCartney. I've never said it on it, haven't I? But you and Ben, you're a good friend.
Oh, that's one of my favourites, that one. Yeah,
I love a good conspiracy
he
theory.
died, the original one. The one that's walking around now is a fake Paul McCartney.
Yeah, well,
fucking brilliant. I love it.
I'm telling you. 1 minute he was married to, is it Jane Asher or whatever? The next minute he was with Linda McCartney, and they were like, and he was 2 inches taller than what the original. That's what the song is. What song was it? A Day in the Life and stuff. He's reckoned it was all about that. And Sergeant Pepper's, he turned the music backwards. Oh, Dave, there's a whole conspiracy. I love a good conspiracy theory, but there is a Morrison one.
Nice, I can't wait.
Nothing beats Elvis in Home Alone when the mum's at the counter and John Candy's there, and it's Elvis right behind her.
Yeah. You know, I'm always tempted. We haven't done this for years, Chris, where it's like, oh, we could have a whole podcast on this. I'd almost be tempted to set up a whole podcast where we get your fucking crackpot conspiracy theories.
Yeah, but with no research.
One of the most, where basically I just deconstruct everything. One of your fucking, about why Elvis, the most famous bloke, most recognisable bloke in the world, decides to go on the set of a John Hughes movie and accidentally be captured in the background. I fucking love it. So I'm not ruling it out, but maybe we have to retire first. But I tell you what, I'd fucking love it.
Well, you know that my research is literally finding the most favourable article that goes with my fucking idea behind it, and just go with that. And then you'll be like, "But hang on a minute, what about this?" I mean, the Elvis one, his middle name's spelt wrong, Dave, on his headstone because he was a twin. There's the whole the Elvis stuff.
No, don't save it because I'm still not ruling out this podcast idea.
Mythbusters, Comics in Motion, VHS Strikes Back style.
Phelpsbusters.
Yeah, Phelpsbusters. Anyway, on that fucking bombshell, massive thank you to everyone. If you want to email us, the vhsstrikesback@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media @VHS Strikes Back, please drop us a review if you can on your podcast catching up. We really appreciate it. It gets myself and Dave up them charts. Also, if you do want to support us, please get over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. So the roll call of honour and a massive thank you to Gareth, Mike, Lee, Helen, Dylan, Stephen, Dan, Justin, Susan, Timothy, Matt, Hales, Kent Gustafson, Lucky, Lulu Green, Herbs, Jack, Math, Blake, John Hammond, and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, guys, for all your continued support, past and present, everyone who supported myself and Dave. We really appreciate it, even if Dave has these harebrained conspiracy theories that I like to debunk. But there you go.
Amazing. I'm so excited about the idea of that. Not got any fucking time to do it, but, you know, like I say, I'm not ruling it out. But Chris, for this week's little musical interlude, I actually have an option for you. So you mentioned about Lady Gaga, so we can go down that kind of route, or we can go down a Van Morrison route. And whichever one you don't pick, I'll probably just shove at the end of the episode after the outro music. But which route would you want to go down?
I think the Lady Gaga, because I don't like Van Morrison, Dave. I'll be honest with you. Brown Eyed Girl used to piss me off, and it still does. So, yeah, if you've got a Lady Gaga type song, I would happily listen to that.
Now that you've just told me that, I'm so tempted to just play the Van Morrison one. But you shouldn't let these things slip. But no, I shall be kind. Let's go with the Lady Gaga-esque kind of tune.
Oh, this is Lady Gaga.
It's fine myself. Bring it along.
You can just see her in some outfit.
I want your stealth, I want your knife, I want your silent moves in the night. You're a shadow in the mist, but one step and it's all dismiss.
I'm dancing, Dave, so it's got the beat.
Fatal instinct, caught in your deadly dance. Who'll survive, who'll make the move in this fatal instinct groove? Fatal instinct, caught in your deadly dance. Who'll survive, who'll make the move in this fatal instinct groove?
It's quite catchy, isn't it?
It's good. It's good. It's better than the fucking movie, anyway.
There's another one you can see on the outro, though. On the end credit.
You plan, you strike, you set your trap. One fatal blow, no looking back. But I'm the prey and I know the game. One mistake and you'll take the blame.
This is proper Gaga, isn't it? A little bit of Debbie Harry thrown to
Can't
a
see
bucket.
your face, but I know you're near.
Yeah, they eat this as well.
I can smell
Yeah.
your fear.
Like a human lead.
Hunter, but you got the thrill. You'll make one slip and I'll go in for the kill. Fatal instinct, caught in your deadly dance. Who'll survive, who'll make the move in this fatal instinct groove?
It's got a proper 80s synth sound to this one, Dave. It's a good one, this.
Yeah.
I like this.
Fatal instinct, caught in your deadly dance. Who'll survive, who'll make the move in this fatal instinct groove? Fatal instinct, caught in your deadly dance. Who'll survive, who'll make the move in this fatal instinct groove?
I like that.
It's so,
do,
honestly,
I like that. It's good.
it's quite sing-along, isn't it? Or it's for me anyway, so I had a lot of fun putting that one together. Also, missed the opportunity to make you suffer a bit of Van Morrison-esque style, but hang around to the end and you'll be able to hear that one. But thank you very much, Chris. Blake, I am so sorry. He's an absolute legend. Like you say, greatest mullet ever, fantastic beard as well. Shit tasting spoof movies, though. But if you were trying to stitch us up, you fucking absolutely nailed it. So thank you very much, sir. Thanks to all our supporters. Thanks to all our listeners. And we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back.
That's annoying.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go. All right. Ding, ding. Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go.
Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Maybe you stupid. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I seen you at 6 I must break you.
Fatal instinct, I see it in your eyes, moving like a whisper under cover of the night sky. Got that fatal instinct, coming after me in the misty moonlight that no one else can see. Ned Ravine. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Singing now. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Ned Ravine, he's a detective on the beat, with a trench coat on and travels down to his feet. He's got a nose for danger, got a nose for lies. He can't see the fate that's hidden in your eyes. And when the wind blows through the willow tree, I can feel you getting closer to me. And stillness, the breath upon my skin. Now it's only a matter of time before you draw me in. Do you remember old Ned Ravine? Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Singing now. Sha-la-la.